Step 3 is the group interview. This is where you're coming in to your Zoom group interview, your face-to-face group interview, and you're pitching your opportunity, you're selling your opportunity with the intention to convert people to take next steps into a one-on-one. During the group interviews where they're really learning about the A to Z opportunity. Now there's multiple ways to do this, but the way that we set this up for our clients is we provide for them an 8-step group interview script and an 8-step PowerPoint that aligns with that script. At a high level, that 8-step process is first the pre-frame and the introduction. That is just introducing candidates to this process, why they're there in the presentation, what they're going to learn, what next steps will be if they're interested in the opportunity, and just really setting the tone for the presentation. So this is really similar to what you probably do in the home when you're selling your products and services. You do a pre-frame and you set the tone for exactly how the sales conversation is going to go. That's exactly what step 1 in our 8-step group interview process is all about. Step 2, 3, and 4 is about your culture, your industry, and your company. Now, what's incredibly important about these 3 steps in the process is as you're explaining these things, candidates need to be drawn in and understanding that this opportunity, this presentation, your company, from a culture, industry, and organizational perspective, is incredibly unique compared to other opportunities that they've heard about. Your goal is to help them understand that your culture, your industry, your company story, and plans for the future is more exciting than any opportunity that they've seen and that they will see. And so what I've done in the first half of the presentation is I've set the tone. I've talked about the culture, the industry, the company story, the plans for growth in the future. And all of a sudden, candidates are in the group interview presentation and they're like, wow, this sounds really cool. Now, steps 5 and 6 is where you start to get into the unsexy aspects of your opportunity. This for you is the commission-based aspect of your opportunity, how they're self-generating leads on the doors, how maybe they're not going to make money for 30 to 90 days if you're in something like home improvement sales. This is ultimately where that information starts to come. And that's why the first half of the presentation is so important. They need to be bought into the opportunity, the culture, the industry, your company, before you start to present these unsexy aspects of your opportunities, so it's not really a big deal by them. And to help you understand a little bit more about these 2 steps in steps 5 and 6, is step 5 is about the sales position, and step 6 is something we call the sacrifice. So in step 5, you're giving them a high-level understanding of your A to Z sales process. Not like the sales tech and the scripting and those kind of things, but at a high level what you do in the field. On top of that, you're helping them understand within your 1 to 2, 3 positions what the income ranges are. So as an example, if I'm that Salt Lake City solar company and I'm just hiring into one sales position, which is a door-to-door sales position, a solar sales consultant position, then I'll help them understand that the average Joe's going to make 75K plus, that the top 20%ers are going to make 125K plus, and the top 5 to 10%ers are going to make 175K plus, or whatever your numbers are based on your commission-based compensation plan. Again, step 6 is called the sacrifice, and this is really just educating the group interview candidates on what it looks like to see true success in their life, and helping them understand that there's a sacrifice regardless of what career path they go down, whether they want to be a doctor and go to school for 10 years to make 6 figures, and how that's a time and financial sacrifice, or if they want to go down the route of being a low salaried worker and just barely paying their bills like the average US citizen, and how that's a sacrifice of probably being miserable and being broke and working till they die. And bringing them into the sacrifice of what it looks like to ramp up into your position, which is maybe going through the learning curve of door-to-door sales and going through that initial ramp-up period over 90 days, maybe like in a roofing or solar sales position. In most cases, in a door-to-door sales opportunity, the sacrifice is going to be in those initial phases of learning the door-to-door sales gig and ramping up to a good income. But hopefully that makes sense. So what we've done in the first half of the presentation is we've built value, 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 just like in a sales pitch. And we've gotten them excited about our opportunity. In steps 5 and 6, we've presented the unsexy aspects of our opportunity, but set the tone of really what it looks like. And then we lead into step 7, which is all about the career path, so that they know once they get through that sacrifice and they're crushing it in the sales position, that there's other opportunities in your business. This is where you need to get really clear on what you want to accomplish as an organization, so you can reverse engineer the team size and understand what leadership structure, what leadership opportunities exist to accomplish your revenue goals in the future. This allows you to actually present these things as objective truths in your business, resulting into recruits getting excited about it. Advancement opportunity is one of the biggest reasons we get people to take that next step into our commission-based door-to-door sales opportunity. And it's important for you to understand exactly what opportunities exist. Now, once you've got really good at this presentation, you should be converting 50+% of the candidates in the group interview into one-on-one interviews. Now, depending on if you're doing group interviews via Zoom or face-to-face, is going to determine what process you do from the end of the group interview to the final interview. But there is sometimes an additional layer of screening and scheduling that needs to happen in between the group interview and final interview. But obviously step 4 would be the final interview.